So today I'm going to talk about who are you and what shapes you and what shakes you. Or if you want to say what shakes you and what shapes you, doesn't matter. But the reason why I want to be talking about this is because there's a lots of situations that are happening around the world, not just in India. And most of these situations are related with depression, frustration, hopelessness, and ultimately leading to people taking their own lives, which is a very sad thing. And I think we as individuals, as family, as friends, as citizens, and as people who love one another, I think we need to be able to play an important role in this. And so I want to give us some statistics today which will help us understand the world scenario, India scenario, and age situation of how these things happen, and then go on to a little bit of tips of how we can help each other. So let's look at some statistics from the WHO, the World Health Organization. Now this is what they've said. The whole world has about 8 lakhs of people who take their lives. India is the highest suicide rate in Southeast Asia. More than 50% of suicides globally were by people younger than the age of 45. And approximately half of India, which is 1.2, 1.3 billion people, are under the age of 26. We're a pretty young country, young nation. And India has the highest suicide rate among youth in the world. Among youth in the whole world, we as a country in India have the highest suicide rate. And the forecast was that by 2020, we will be the youngest country in the world with an average age of 29, which is fantastic. Now, student suicides in India are 28 per day. 28 per day, which is an average of every 1 hour in India, one person takes their life. That's not a good statistics. And every hour, one student commits suicide. So the highest is in the 15 to the 29 age. The highest suicide rates, so people who take their lives, are in the age brackets of 15 to 29. Now that's horrible. That's sad. That's the budding age of people. That's people are just starting to begin their lives, and that's crazy. So when I say and ask who are you, what shakes you, and what shapes you, I'm trying to help us understand that there are situations, scenarios, and there are certain things that actually cause us to get to a point of hating our lives and getting into a point of taking our lives. And let me read a few things. Loneliness, worthlessness, depression, broken relationships, failed expectations, academic stress, fear of failure. Now, these are all the different, these and more. It's not just these, but these are some of the basics and maybe what starts off with. So if you or if you know anybody else is going through these things, I think we need to be able to address these issues. And if we don't address these issues, we can be victims, or we can have our family people who are going to be victims. We can have our friends or society. It doesn't matter. So whether they are family or they're not family, I think as citizens, as people, as human beings, we need to take care of each other, care for each other, and we need to look at symptoms. You know, before anything happens, nobody's going to take their life overnight. There's going to be symptoms that are going to be piling up over weeks, if not months, right? So we need to look out for symptoms, look out for each other, and cover each other's back. That's what I'm saying. We need to cover each other's back. So when I say we need to watch out for people and watch out our backs, what I mean is we need to look at things that are happening in people's lives. You know, as I said, symptoms. You know, one of the things that we normally tend to do as human beings is mind our own business and think, oh, let everybody figure out their own lives. Well, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But that can end up in someone actually missing out on some care, counsel, advice, and saving their lives. And so look out for people, especially when you see people. You know, one of the important secrets of being friends is listen more than talk. Listen to them. Don't be in a hurry to give advice or counsel, or giving them the best suggestions. That's really not going to help people these days. When I say listen to people, the reason why I say listen to people is because when people go through different situations in their life, they're storing all that inside of them. It's like a pressure cooker. We all use pressure cookers in India, at least. And when the pressure increases inside the vessel, if you don't lift that city, which they call, or that knob on top, or that escape valve, if you don't lift that periodically, or if that doesn't lift by itself, the whole pressure cooker is going to burst because there's too much of pressure inside. Life is like a pressure cooker. We have all these problems and challenges and situations, and we are filled with pressure inside. And if that city and if that valve doesn't keep lifting off and allowing this pressures to go, we're going to end our lives. Doesn't matter who you are. You're going to freak out, and you don't even know what you're doing. So we need to be that person who's watching to see whose pressure cooker is getting a lot of steam, and so we can go and just lift the knob off and release them from that pressure so that they don't do anything stupid or tragic. So one of the ways that we could help people is by actually sharing our failures, our pain, our struggles with people. Many times we as human beings try to paint this perfect picture in front of family, friends, and society. And that's where we're trying to give them a false impression of who we are. But on the other hand, if you tell them your pain, your fear, your struggle, your weakness, and tell them you also fail, and tell them that you also have situations in your life, then what's going to happen is people are going to identify and know that they are not abnormal, that they are normal, because people around are having the same fears and pains. So we need to be open, and we need to be honest and transparent, and just allow them to feel normal and help them understand that everybody is going through it and we are all with each other. But if we try to paint a perfect picture and paint this picture of we are fantastic and we are Mr. Perfect or Miss Perfect and they are abnormal people, that's when people feel lonely. They feel driven as if something is wrong with them and everybody else is perfect. So when you hear people say, I'm fine, when you ask them, how are you? And if you hear people say, I'm fine, that fine might not actually be fine. And so it's important to look at any abnormal behavior and listen to your inner whispers. It's very important that we listen to our inner whisper when we're trying to help people and understand how we play a role. And another important thing that I've learned many times in my life is being at the right place in the right time with the right people. Sometimes when we miss on that, we tend to miss on people's help, tend to miss on how we could be there for those people. So being at the right place at the right time with the right people is very important. And listening to our inside voice of this person needs help or that person needs help. And so don't just take people's I'm fine for fine, because all you know is they will never be fine and it will be too late to understand that you could have helped them. So in ending, I want to encourage each one of us that don't allow anybody to be lonely. One of the dangers of allowing people to be segregated or in solitude or lonely without friends, without society, without family, is their mind is never going to work normally and it's going to be distorted. So never allow anybody to be lonely. Try to be friends with people, and if they segregate and try to go off in loneliness, it is a sign that something is not good with them, something is not normal with them, and they're trying to segregate. And when they segregate and when they get lonely, they don't even know whether they're doing something good or bad or the right or the wrong thing. So when you find people getting lonely and aloof and trying to go away from you, that's a good sign that they're not doing well. It means that they're not fine. So make the efforts. You and me need to make the efforts to go to them, talk to them. We don't have to force them to say personal things to us, but we need to make that effort to go and approach them and just talk in simple general terms. It doesn't have to be anything serious, but at least in doing so, we help people to understand that I'm there with you. I'm there for you. You can talk to me. Remember the the illustration, the example of the pressure cooker I gave you. So that gets released at least in one manner or the other. So don't allow people to be isolated. Talk to people, look for symptoms, listen to your inner voice and your whispers. Don't take I'm fine for actually being fine, and just make sure that you are in the right time, in the right place, for the right person, because you'll be doing the right thing for that person. So in ending, I just want to let you know that I care for you, we all care for you, and feel free to reach me out. I'm going to put my number on the screen there. Don't hesitate to call me or WhatsApp me anytime, morning, afternoon, night, it doesn't matter, because all that matters is that we care for you and I care for you. So anytime, reach me, and I would like to spend time with you. Not that I'm going to solve your problems. I don't think I can solve anybody's problems, but at least I can hear you and share with you what I go through, so that you'll know that you're not alone and people are there for you, and we're happy to help. So reach me anytime. We love you.